The town wakes before the sun. Streetlights are still on. The sea air is cold. A thin fog sits on the road like a quiet blanket. In this hour, most people speak softly. Dogs do not bark. Cars move slow. It looks peaceful, but it is not. Not today. Amina stands at the edge of the old quarry road. Her coat is too light for the wind. She holds her phone with both hands, but the screen is black. The battery died in the night. The charger did not help. She tries the power button again. Nothing. She puts the phone in her pocket and looks down the road. The road bends into a dark cut between rocks. Old signs lean to one side. The paint is faded, the words hard to read. There is a gate here, but it is open. It should not be open. Rain fell last night. The ground is slick. Mud shows the marks of tires that passed after the storm. Fresh tracks, deep marks. Amina takes one small step, then she stops. She knows this road. She told them not to come here after dark. She warned them again and again. Please, she said. Do not go there at night, they laughed. They said she was dramatic. They said the stories were old. They said nothing bad would happen to them. They said she worried too much. Now they are gone. Jared with his loud laugh. Mia, who always took the picture. Leo, who drove too fast. Tasha, who wore a small silver bracelet with a heart charm. 4 friends. 4 empty chairs this morning. Their mothers are calling. Their phones do not ring. The group chat shows the last message from 10:54 p.m. It says, almost there, chill. After that, silence. No blue ticks. No typing. Nothing. Amina turns and sees a police car at the curve. The lights flash, but the siren is off. An officer steps out and walks toward her, slow and careful, like she is a wild animal that might run. He asks for her name. She tells him. He asks if she was with them last night. She says no. He asks if she told them not to come here. She says yes. Her voice is flat. She has said this so many times that the words feel like stones. He writes her answers on a small pad. He thanks her. He says to stay back from the road. She nods, but she does not move far. She watches the other officers set up tape and cones. She watches them talk in low voices. She watches them look at the mud and the broken weeds. She watches them not look at her. The sun slides up behind the fog, but the quarry road stays dim. Another car comes and stops. 2 men in heavy jackets get out. They carry a long metal rod and a camera on a tripod. They kneel in the wet dirt and take pictures of the tire tracks. They measure with a tape. One man points at a spot where the tracks swerve, then disappear. He looks confused. He looks to the officer. He shrugs. Amina feels the wind press against her back. She takes a breath and tastes salt. She closes her eyes and remembers the first time she noticed the pattern. It was not a ghost. It was not some strange light. It was a simple thing. At 11:13 p.m., the streetlights near the quarry always blinked and went dark for a few seconds. Then they came back. She checked it many times. 11:13 blackout silence, 11:14 lights again. The same night after night. She did not know why. She only knew it was true, she told her friends. They joked about it. They made a plan. Let's catch the blackout on video, Jared said. That will get views, Mia said. Easy views, Leo said. Tasha smiled but looked at Amina. Amina shook her head and said, do not go. They waved at her and left. A chill runs through Amina's arms. She rubs her hands together, then she bends down. Something shiny rests half hidden in the wet grass by the gate. She pulls back the leaves. It is a broken chain. A small silver heart hangs from it, scratched and dark with mud. Amina knows it at once. Tasha's bracelet. The clasp is snapped. Her breath catches. She looks up the road again. The fog lifts just enough to show the slope where rainwater runs off the edge. The ground there is rough, like something heavy scraped over it. She wants to go forward, but the tape is up now. An officer sees the bracelet and walks over. He holds out a plastic bag. Amina drops the chain inside without speaking. The officer seals the bag and writes a note on it. He thanks her again, but his face is tight. People gather at the far end of the tape. Some are neighbors. Some are strangers who like to watch. Mouths move. Eyes slide toward Amina. A woman whispers, she warned them, right? A man replies, so how did she know? Another voice says, maybe she was there. Another says, maybe she is the reason. The words are soft, but they cut. Amina stares at the road, not the people. She has no tears. She has a hard, small calm. She is not a curse. She is not the reason. She was the warning. She remembers the voice note she sent at 9:32 p.m. Please, not tonight. The storm is bad. The road will be worse. Wait until day. No one replied. The little blue circle never appeared. Now the audio sits in the chat like a message in a bottle that never reached the shore. A gull cries over the cliffs. The sound feels too bright for this hour. The cameraman clicks and clicks. The metal rod taps the ground. Someone coughs. The world is a thin shell of small sounds, and under that shell is a heavy silence. The officer returns. He asks Amina to come to the station to answer more questions. She nods. She looks down the road once more. The fog shifts, and for a heartbeat she thinks she sees a shine near the bend like glass under leaves. It could be a trick of light. It could be a clue. She cannot go check. Not yet. She turns away and starts to walk to the police car. Then she stops and speaks, not loud, not soft, just clear. If they had listened, she says, to no one and to everyone, they would still be here. The wind carries her words across the tape, over the road, and into the dark cut where the tracks vanish. For a moment, even the gull is quiet. Then the world starts again. Tires crunch. Pens scratch. A radio crackles. But the main thing stays. 4 friends are missing, and the warning was not enough. The morning has only begun, and the truth is still hiding in the fog. Night came fast that week. Clouds moved like heavy ships across the sky. Streetlights made small yellow pools on wet ground. Amina walked home from the library with a thin coat and a quiet mind. She passed the old quarry road and felt it again. The strange pull, like the air was different there. She stopped. She listened. At first there was only rain. Then she heard it. One long car horn far away, then silence. The sound rolled over the rock wall and died. She looked at her watch. Found 12 p.m. She stood still. She counted in her head. 1 minute. At 11:13 p.m., the streetlights near the quarry blinked and went dark. Not slow, not soft. A sharp cut like someone flipped a switch. The black was deep. The kind that eats every shape. The kind that makes your chest feel empty. For 3 slow breaths, the world held its air. Then the lights came back. 11:14, just like last night. Just like the night before, it was not a ghost. It was not a trick. It was a pattern. Amina knew patterns. She liked small facts that repeat. They are honest. They do not pretend. She took a step toward the quarry road. The sign said keep out, but the gate was half open. Rust had eaten the lock. The chain hung loose. The rain made tiny rivers that ran down the slope into the dark cut. Amina looked down. On the edge of the road, someone had scratched a symbol into the metal post. A triangle with a short line under it, like a tooth. She had seen it in an old news photo once. She did not know what it meant. She knew only this: it was not random. Her phone buzzed. A group chat message lit the screen. Jared. Midnight picks at the quarry? EOS lights go out at 11:13. Let's catch it. Leo. Fuse, baby. Tasha. I'm half in, half out. Amina typed fast. No, not tonight. Storm, bad road, please. 3 dots appeared. They vanished. Then another message came. Jared. Amina, relax. We'll be there and back. 10 minutes, Mia. We need a hook. 11:13 blackout is perfect. Leo. We'll leave the hazard lights on. That's safe. Tasha sent a single heart, then nothing. Amina's hands felt cold. She started a voice note. Her voice was calm, but her chest was tight. Please listen. I walk past there every night. I hear a horn one time, then nothing. The lights go out at the same minute. The gate is open when it should not be. The ground is soft. That road is not safe after rain. Please do not go, she sent the note. The blue circle did not turn to a check. No one played it. She lifted her eyes to the road again. She saw the tiniest thing, a thing most people would miss. A patch of weeds that had been pressed flat by something heavy. Not a person. Not one step. Many steps in the same place over days. It looked like the ground waited there. A car drove by behind her, slow. The driver glanced at Amina, then at the quarry gate, then away. People always looked away from the gate. That was the habit of the town. See the danger. Choose silence. Move on. She did not move on. She walked to the gate and stood with 1 foot inside and 1 foot out. She felt the cold air from the cut. It smelled like wet metal and old oil. She listened. The rain thinned to a soft hiss. In the hiss, she heard a new sound. It was small, a tap, then another tap. Like water hitting a tin lid. Tap, 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 pause, tap. She counted the gaps. The taps were not random either. 3 short, 1 long. 2 short, a code? She did not know. But the pattern was there. The quarry did not just sit and wait. It spoke. It said something most people did not hear. She stepped back from the gate and took a photo of the symbol on the post. The flash washed the shape. The scratch looked fresh. Not 7 years old. Not 7 months. It looked like it was made after the last storm when the mud dried. Her phone buzzed again. Leo. We're on the way, she called him. He declined. She called Tasha. It rang once, then went to voicemail. Amina spoke low and clear. Please turn around. I mean it. This is not a vibe. This is danger. She hung up and looked at the road one more time. 11:10 p.m. She thought of the old case in the library file. 3 teens missing. A note in the margin. Lights failed, then returned. No witnesses. She remembered the underline under the word returned. She had underlined it herself with a dull pencil. Returned means someone allowed it to come back. Lights fail by accident. Lights return by choice. Someone controls the switch. She started walking, not into the quarry but along the fence line where wild grass hid a narrow path. As she moved, the sound changed. The tap-tap was louder, then soft again. She stopped and put her ear near the fence. It hummed with the power line nearby. The hum had a beat inside it. Not music, a glitch. Like wires were touched, then lifted. Touched, then lifted. Like someone tested a circuit by hand, her screen lit. A new message. Jared. We just passed the gas station. 10 minutes out. Amina's breath came fast now. She opened her Maps app and dropped a pin on the gate. She typed one more message. If you won't turn back, meet me at the church lot. I'll lead you in at dawn. Dawn is safe. Night is not. Please. No reply. 11:12 p.m. She looked at the sky. The clouds were low, like a ceiling almost touching her head. The air felt heavy, like a hand on her shoulder. Somewhere behind the rock wall, water moved fast in a trench. She heard it swallow small stones. A single horn sounded. Long, tired, far. And then, right on time, 11:13 p.m. The streetlights on the quarry road blinked and died. The dark was total. Even the fence hum seemed to fade. Amina's phone screen dimmed and flickered and went black. The battery had been at 38%. It dropped to 0 in one breath. Dead. The silence that followed had shape. It felt like a door closing. It felt like a breath held by something big. In that silence, from the black of the cut, she heard a laugh. Not a happy laugh. A short, dry laugh that did not match any of her friends. It came once. It did not come again. When 11:14 arrived, the lights snapped back. The hum returned. Her phone stayed dead. Her hands were shaking, but her mind was steady now. The pattern was true. The gate was open. The symbol was fresh. The horn was real. And something else was here tonight. Something that could reach out and take power from the air for a minute and then give it back. She turned and ran toward the main road. She would not sleep. She would wait by the church lot. She would try again to stop them. She would try until her voice broke. But by the time she reached the lot, headlights were already moving past the turn. A car, her friends. The hazard lights flashed twice like a wink. They did not see her. They did not stop. Amina stood in the rain and watched the red glow fade into the bend. She opened her empty hands to the night. She made one last promise to the dark. I warned you, she whispered. Now I will follow. The last clear moment lives on a screen. 10:47 p.m. gas station. White tubes of light hum overhead. The wet ground shines like glass. 4 friends walk in. Jared first, tall and loud. Mia behind him with her camera. Leo with the keys in hand. Tasha touching her bracelet like it is a tiny shield. They do not look scared. They look excited. They look like people who think danger is a story for other people. The cashier is bored. He leans on the counter and watches the rain. He will remember 3 small things later. Mia said 11:13 like it was a joke. Leo asked for change, all coins. Tasha bought a bottle of water and did not open it. The camera shows hands, snacks, a map, a receipt. Jared draws a line on the paper with a red pen. The line ends at a little square he calls the ledge. He grins at the camera lens. 10 minutes, his mouth says. There is no sound on the old camera, but everyone knows that line. It is always 10 minutes. Tasha stands apart for 1 second. She looks at her phone. The blue circle around Amina's voice note glows on her screen. She does not press it. She tucks the phone into her jacket. She presses the heart on her bracelet and looks up at the ceiling like she is making a promise to it. 10:52 p.m. They leave. The door chime flickers and dies mid-ring. The video shows the four of them stepping into the rain. A car door opens, then another. Red taillights smear across the wet lot and slide toward the road. The cashier smells something sharp and thin. Ozone, like the air after lightning. He rubs his arms. He cannot say why, but he is suddenly cold. On the road outside, a dash cam in a parked truck starts on its own. The owner is inside buying coffee. The camera clicks to life, records the empty road, then captures the car as it passes. The hazard lights blink twice. The clock on the dash cam says 10:54. A small glitch ripples across the screen like a hand brushed the lens from the inside. The truck driver comes back and sits. He looks at the dash cam and frowns. He did not touch it. It should not be on. He rewinds 10 seconds. He sees the blink. He hears through a hiss of rain a single far horn. He tells himself it is nothing and drives away. 8:58 p.m. A traffic camera at the church lot shows a shape moving on the sidewalk. A lone figure in a thin coat, head down. Fast steps. Amina. The timestamp is steady, white digits, unbothered by the rain. For one frame, she lifts her face toward the curve where the quarry road begins. Her mouth forms one word, stop. The camera has no sound, but anyone can read that word. 3 p.m. A yellow house on Quarry Road has a doorbell cam. It sees only the bottom half of the world. Shoes, tires, puddles. The car goes by. The tires cut water into 2 fans. Coins fall and ping in the gutter. Leos change. The doorbell cam's motion alert lights a small ring on the house wall. Then for 3 seconds the ring glows brighter than it should, as if it is being fed by something else. 1:06 p.m. The last gas station receipt prints. The ink smears. Thank you looks like the KU. The cashier notices the smudge and writes the time by hand in the margin. He does not know why he does it. His hand just moves like some quiet part of him wants a second clock. 11:09 p.m. The road near the quarry turns to broken tar and old gravel. The car's tires leave clear marks. A county traffic counter lies under a rubber mat across the road. It clicks once as the front tires roll over it. It does not click for the back tires. The data file will later show a gap where 2 clicks should be. The machine woke up to count, then fell asleep mid-number. No one can explain this. 11 p.m. A house cat sits in a window and tracks the headlights. The owner films it for fun. The video shows the cat's ears turn toward the road. Then both ears flatten flat. The cat makes a low sound. Not a hiss, a warning hum. The owner laughs and posts the clip online with a caption about silly midnight cat. She will take it down in the morning when she learns the news. 12 p.m. The truck driver, the one with the dash cam, reaches the long bend beyond the church. He sees a faint orange blink in his mirror. He thinks it is a reflection. He does not know it is the last friendly light from the friend's car. At 13 p.m., the street lights on the quarry road go out. Every device watching, dash cams, doorbells, counters, old city cameras, takes a small breath and holds it. Screens freeze on mid-frames. A droplet hangs in the air like a pearl. A single moth stops beating its wings under a lamp that is no longer on. The quarry road becomes black. Not night black, depth black. The kind you feel inside your teeth. In that held minute, one more camera wakes. A wildlife camera strapped to a tree near the cut. It is old and almost dead, but it is set to trigger on heat and movement. It should not see much in rain, but it sees something. A warm shape crosses its small rectangle of vision. The shape is not a car. It is not a deer. It is low to the ground and moves like it knows every stone. Only one frame is clear, a curve like a shoulder, a strip of wet surface that looks like metal. The camera stamps 11:13:21 in white digits, then dies. 1:14 p.m. The lights come back. The doorbell ring on the yellow house dims to normal. The traffic counter waits for a second click that never comes. The dash cam in the parked truck stops recording on its own. The quarry road is empty. The skid marks begin near the turn, then vanish like they were lifted by a hand. On the shoulder, a single coin rests in a small pool of water. It spins very slowly, though there is no wind down there. The coin was part of Leo's change. The spin slows. It falls flat. The ripples reach the edge of the pool and return like a quiet signal, like a whisper of too late. Morning will take its pictures. Police will measure and write. But the last sight belongs to the cameras and to the small things that do not lie. The coin, the counter, the cat, the light that should not glow, the minute that eats power and gives it back. Amina will replay those screens until her eyes burn. She will freeze on 11/13/21 and stare at the strange curve, the wet shine. She will say, not a fall, a pull. And when she says it, a man in the room will look away fast, like the cashier did the night before, because someone always looks away at the part that matters. And somewhere beyond the bend, under leaves and thin soil, a shard of headlight glass waits to be found. It points down the hidden road, the road no map shows, the road that takes and does not return. Morning comes slow to this town. People speak with careful voices. Doors open a little, then close. Eyes watch from curtains. No one wants to say the old word quarry. They say the bend, or up there, or that road. Amina hears them. She feels the wall of silence. She pushes anyway. She starts at the library. The librarian, Mrs. Cole, is small and sharp. She knows where papers hide. Amina asks for files on the old quarry. Mrs. Cole does not smile. She checks the clock. She locks the door. Then she brings a gray box from the back room. The lid sticks. Dust rises. Inside there are clippings and maps and letters with coffee rings. Amina turns pages with careful hands. She finds a headline from 7 years ago. 3 teens missing near quarry. She finds a second line in a small box. Electric cut at 11:13 p.m. She finds a photo of a metal post with a strange scratch, a triangle with a short line under it. The same symbol she saw last night. Who marked that? Amina asks. Mrs. Cole's throat moves. She says no one knows, then she adds very soft, or no one tells. Amina keeps looking. There is a note in the margin with a blue pen. Lights returned by manual switch. The word returned is underlined twice. She finds a copy of a letter from a company lawyer. It says the quarry firm is not responsible for trespass or natural hazard. It says the gate is meant to be closed after heavy rain. Meant to be, but it was open. Who runs the switch? Amina asks. Mrs. Cole closes the gray box. That is not in here, she says. But I know a man who might talk. They walk to the back door and step into a thin alley. The air is cool. The church bell does not ring. It is a weekday bell. It should ring once at noon. It does not. The absence feels loud. They go to a small house near the river. A dog sleeps on the porch. The old ranger, Mr. Harlan, opens the door with slow hands. His jacket is heavy even in daylight. His eyes are the color of winter. Not police, he says. Good. He sits at a table and lays out maps like cards. He points to thin lines near the quarry. Storm drains, he says. Service roads. Some are still open. Some were meant to be sealed. He looks at Amina. Meant to. Why weren't they? She asks. He touches a corner of one map where the paper has turned soft. Money, he says, and a habit of looking away. He tells a short story. 7 years ago, after the last missing case, a contractor came to weld a grate over a drain culvert at the end of the service road. He welded 2 hinges. He ran out of rods. He said he would come back after the weekend. He did not. The company changed hands. The paper said closed and secure. Mr. Harlan raised a flag. No one answered. Where is the switch? Amina asks. The old man lifts his gaze to her face. He studies her like a map, too. Then he points to a small square on the drawing. Old pump shack, he says. It controls power to this stretch. It should be off and locked. Should. He folds the map. There's a code on our old signs. A triangle over a bar. It means close after storm. We scratched it in when paint wore off. It is not secret. It is simple. But someone has to care enough to close the gate when rain comes. Someone has to turn off the road and say, not tonight. Amina hears the words, after storm. She thinks of last night. The symbol looked fresh. Someone touched that post after the rain. Someone knew the code. Someone was there. She asks about the teens from 7 years ago. Mr. Harlan looks at the church steeple through the window. 1 body found, he says. 2 not. We told people to stop using the service road. We told the company to seal it. We told the council to find them. The council asked for proof. The company said, we will review. No one wanted a fight. So the road stayed like a half-closed eye. Mrs. Cole whispers, the council minutes are strange. Amina and Mrs. Cole go next to the town office. The clerk gives them a binder after a pause that is too long. Pages are neat, but some lines are thick with black ink. Redacted, Amina reads the parts she can. Meeting. May 12th, discussion of pump shack status, redacted meeting. June 3rd, vote on signage budget, approved, 0 hours meeting. August 28th, incident review, redacted. Why are these lines black? Amina asks. Privacy, the clerk says without looking up. Legal. Legal for who? Amina asks. The clerk closes the binder with a hand that shakes just a little. Return that when done, she says. They walk out. On the steps, a man in a city jacket stands smoking. He has a patch that says electric. His eyes skip past Amina, then return. He drops the cigarette and crushes it too hard. You're the girl, he says. She is Amina, Mrs. Cole says. The man nods once. He speaks without moving his mouth much. The pump shack is not on my map, he says. But it is there. He looks at the sky. Someone kept the breaker live. I don't know who. Don't ask me more. He steps away fast like he just told a secret to a wall. Amina feels the town push back on her like a tide. She does not step back. She moves toward the church. The bell rope hangs still inside the entry. The sacristy door is locked, but the side door is not. Amina slips in. The church smells like wax and old wood. On the wall near a side table, a small card is pinned under glass. Emergency numbers. One line reads, Quarry Night Watch, and then it is scratched out with a black marker. The ink is not old. She takes a photo. Her hand shakes now. She breathes slow. She hears a soft sound behind her. The priest stands in the doorway, kind eyes, tired shoulders. He looks at the card. He says it used to help. It made people call before they went up there at night. We had volunteers. We closed the gate after storms. Then the list was taken down. Liability, they said. Who said that? Amina asks. He does not answer. He looks at her like he wants to bless her and warn her at the same time. He points to a wooden box near the back pew. There is a lost and found, he says. Sometimes we pick things from the road after rain. Amina opens the box. Scarves, a glove, a broken keychain, a wet flyer, an old flashlight. At the bottom, a plastic tag from a lock. The number is stamped in, 413. The edge is burned like from a quick hot cut. Where did this come from? She asks. Yesterday, the priest says. A boy found it near the bend, a lock tag without a lock. A code, a cut. Amina holds it in her palm. She feels heat that is not there. She sees the open gate in her mind. Outside, the noon bell should ring. It does not. Instead, a far horn sounds once. The sound rolls through the empty space where the bell should speak. People on the street stop and look at each other. Then they look away. They go back to their steps and their small tasks. Mrs. Cole puts a hand on Amina's arm. You do not have to carry this, she says. Amina closes her fingers over the tag. I already am, she says. And someone else is helping it happen. They leave the church and head toward the quarry road. A council notice flaps on a pole. Weather advisory. Use caution. A black marker has scratched a small triangle over a short line at the bottom of the paper. The code again. Fresh again. Someone is warning, Mrs. Cole says, or signing their work, Amina says. The wind shifts. For a breath, the smell of wet metal returns. A black truck turns the corner and slows when the driver sees Amina. The windows are too dark to see inside. The truck idles. Then it moves on. Quiet but heavy, like it knows the way without thinking. Amina watches the taillights vanish. She has more now than fear. She has a path, gate meant to be closed, grate meant to be sealed, switch meant to be off, minutes meant to be clear. All the meant to things are broken in the same place. She turns toward the bend. Where are we going? Mrs. Cole asks. To find the pump shack, Amina says. To see who turns the lights back on. And from the direction of the quarry, not loud but clear, a dry laugh drifts on the air. The same wrong laugh from the night before. It comes once. Then the town goes quiet again. Rain hangs in the trees like thin glass. The town keeps its doors half shut. Amina ties her hair back and puts a pencil behind her ear. She carries a paper map in a plastic sleeve, a small flashlight, chalk, and a string with knots every foot. Simple tools. Honest tools. She will not wait. She starts at the bend where the road drops from clean tar to broken stone. She crouches and marks the tire tracks with chalk. One line for the path in, no line for the path out. She pockets a small shard of glass from the weeds. It is from a headlight. It smells faintly of oil and rain. The wind is light here, but the bushes move in a slow wave like breath. Amina listens. Water runs under the road somewhere, deeper than a ditch. She takes 3 small stones and tosses them one by one into the dark cut beside the bend. She counts the echoes. First stone, 1, 2, 3. A soft drum far below. Second stone, 1, 2. Then a hollow ring like tin. Third stone, 1, only 1, and then a rush like water swallowing fast. The ground is not the same everywhere. Some parts are solid. Some are a skin over a throat. She follows the fence line into the wild grass, the same path she took the night before. She ties her string to a post and runs it along the ground so she will know the way back. Every 5 feet she presses chalk into a rock. A small mark, a small promise to herself. This way out. Her phone stays in her pocket, dark and dead. She uses a small compass from a keychain. The needle shakes and then points not north but toward the bend. She taps the glass. The needle moves back slow like it is thinking. Then it points wrong again. Something here does not like to be measured. Amina reaches the signpost with the scratched symbol. A triangle over a line. Fresh. The scratch dust still lives in the little grooves. She rubs the edge of the post. The metal feels warm, though the air is cold. She presses her palm and listens with her skin. A tiny hum moves through the post, the kind you feel in your teeth. Close after storm, she whispers, remembering Mr. Harlan's words. But someone opened. She walks on, careful, counting steps, keeping the string tight. A low branch knocks her shoulder. She stops and looks. Strands of clear fishing line run between 2 bushes at ankle height. They are old and sagging, but they are not natural. Someone tied them here long ago to guide or to trap. The knot style is neat, not random. She lifts the line with a stick and steps over. It snaps with a soft sound like a quiet shh. Beyond the bushes, a flat patch of ground shows a pattern in the mud. Many soles pressed the same shape over time. Workers' boots. Not teens. Not last night. A habit path. It leads toward the sound of running water. She kneels and touches the mud. The top is cold. Under it there is warmth like a weak hand against hers. She pulls back and stands very still. A crow lands on the fence and stares at her. It cocks its head. It lets out a rough sound that is not quite a call. Then it lifts off and glides along the fence, slow, waiting. Amina follows, step by careful step, as if the bird is a guide sent by the ordinary world to keep her from the edge of the other one. The fence ends at a tangle of blackberry vines. Behind them, half hidden, sits a small concrete box with a metal door, the pump shack. The door has 2 hinge scars where a lock should hang. There is no lock. Only a melted tag ring on the ground burned at one side. The number is the same as the church tag, 413. She picks it up. It is warm. Her breath fogs in the air. She touches the handle. It is dry. No rain marks. Someone touched it after the storm and wiped it clean. She opens the door slowly. Inside, dust floats like slow stars. A panel with 3 big switches sits on the wall. Each switch has a label. Road A, Road B, drain pump. A hand has written with a marker under Road A. Lights keep on. The words keep on are newer ink. She holds her breath and extends her hand. The switch for Road A is up, live. The switch for Road B is down, off. The switch for drain pump is up, but a small red light near it winks in a sick way, on, off, on, like a heartbeat that slips. She does not touch the switches. She looks at the dust on the floor. There is a clean path through it from the door to the panel and back. Boot marks, 1 set, and a second kind. Thin lines made by something being dragged, a cable, a chain. She pulls a folded paper from her pocket. Mr. Harlan's faded map traced by hand. It shows a thin service road that bends behind the shack and drops toward the culvert where a grate should be. She feels the ground through her shoes. It tilts that way. The crow hops to the shack roof and pecks twice, tap, tap. Okay, she tells the bird. I'm coming. She steps out and circles the shack. The service road is there, but it is shy. Weeds hide it. Leaves try to make it look like a slope. If you do not look hard, you will not see it. Amina looks hard. She kneels and brushes leaves aside. Under them, a ribbon of crushed stone gleams wet and pale. She draws a quick arrow on a flat rock with chalk down. She takes her string, loops it around the shack corner, and feeds it behind her as she moves. Every few steps, she tests the ground with her heel. If it gives too easy, she backs up and goes wide. Twice she hears the water right under the thin top and feels her toes pull, like a mouth opened to taste her shoe. She whispers no to the ground and steps light past. A minute later, the trees shift. The sound of the water grows strong. The air turns colder and smells like old metal and something sharp, like the air near a battery. The brush thins and the hidden road opens into a narrow cut between rock walls. There, at the end of the cut, is the grate. It is large and old, bolted into a concrete mouth where the storm drain drinks the hill. Two of its bars are bent outward like fingers forced apart. A steel pin sits in the mud nearby, black and shiny at the tip where heat kissed it. The weld marks on the hinge are new and also broken. Mended once, broken again. Someone did work here. Someone undid it. Amina crouches. The water rushes through the gap and into the dark. A scarf of weed swirls at the edge like hair. Pieces of leaf and a bit of blue plastic spin stall, then vanish with a soft gulp. On the concrete lip, she sees more marks. Scratches from a bumper. Fresh scrapes. Fingerprints where hands grabbed at moss. A deep heel gouge that says, "Someone tried to push. Someone tried to climb." She leans in and holds her breath and listens. There is more sound than water. There is a low groan below, like something metal moves against stone, slow and heavy, and another sound high and thin. A beep, beep, beep from deep inside, weak and far. A phone alarm? A car sensor? It fades, it returns. It fades again. She sets her flashlight on her head with a band and checks the bolt heads with her fingers. Two are loose enough to twist a little. The metal is still warm. She looks for tools, none. She looks for footprints. Two kinds. Big boots near the hinge, and a smaller tread along the edge, careful. Careful. The small prints go down the side to a shelf of rock where someone could lie flat and reach into the gap without falling in. She swallows. The small tread could be Tasha, or it could be the one who walked away. She tests the shelf with her weight. It holds. She lies flat, a hand on rock, and reaches down, deep as she dares. Cold water clutches her wrist. Her fingers touch something smooth. Plastic, no, glass, a phone. She slides it along the lip until she can pinch it. She pulls it up slow so it does not slip. It is Mia's phone. The case has a tiny camera sticker. Cracks run across the back like frost. The screen is dark. When she presses the side button, nothing. When she turns it over, a small red light by the lens pulses once, very faint, then dies. A last breath, she lays the phone on dry rock and stares at the gap. There is a shadow movement below, not water. Something that sways and then goes still. A fabric shape caught on a bar. A jacket sleeve, not a fall, she whispers. A pull. A tiny, clean whistle flows out of the drain and brushes her ear as if air is being taken in somewhere below on purpose. It stops. The water rushes on. Amina looks back up the narrow road. The trees are still. The world above is pale and simple. Down here, the air feels tighter, like the dark has muscles. She takes a breath and sets the phone in her jacket. She pulls the string tight and ties it to a root by the grate. She chalks a new mark on the concrete. A triangle over a line, the town's quiet code, but she adds a second line under it. Her own mark. Close now. A slow engine sound rolls faintly from far up the path. A vehicle, heavy, careful, moving at a crawl like it knows every stone. The crow shifts on a branch and goes silent. Amina presses flat to the rock and listens. One long horn breathes out, low and tired, from somewhere beyond the bend. Then the engine cuts, then the water keeps talking. And nothing else does. The engine goes quiet. The trees hold their breath. Amina lies flat by the bent grate and does not move. Water pulls hard through the gap like a steady hand. Her string line trembles against the root. The crow above her shifts once and stops. She waits. 10 slow counts, 20. Nothing comes down the service road. No voice, no foot on gravel. Only the water and that low metal groan from deep inside the drain. The sound is patient. It works without hurry. Amina slides back from the edge and stands. Her knees shake a little, but her hands are steady. She tucks Mia's cracked phone into the inside pocket of her jacket. Then she looks at the grate again. The bars bend outward, not in. That means force from the inside. That means push, not fall. She scans the concrete lip for more signs. There on the far side, a small smear of black on the moss. She wipes it with a finger. It is grease, new and slick. She lifts her hand to her nose. The smell is sharp, like a machine worked hard and hot just hours ago. She follows the smear with her eyes. It runs toward a low shelf of rock, then ends at a set of marks like teeth close together. Not from a boot. From a metal grate bar dragged over stone. Someone pulled the bar wide, then let it snap back. Someone opened the way, she whispers. Someone keeps opening it. She checks the knot on her string, then turns to climb the narrow path back to the pump shack. Each step is careful. Twice she stops and listens for the engine again. Nothing comes. The Crow glides ahead of her, black on gray, quiet as smoke. At the shack, the door still sits open like a mouth. Inside, the three big switches wait. Road A up, Road B down. Drain pump up with that sick red blink on off on like a skipping heart. On the floor, the thin drag lines she saw before cross each other near the wall, then vanish under a small cabinet. She kneels and pulls the cabinet out 2 inches. Behind it, in a shallow void, she finds a coil of cable, a rag, and a small metal tag on a chain. The tag is stamped with numbers and a letter, RA1 on 13. She touches the edge. The metal is warm. She flips the tag over. Someone has scratched a tiny triangle over a line into the back. The same code. The same hand? She looks at the cable. The ends are clean and bright like they were cut yesterday. She looks at the rag. It smells of oil and wet stone. She pushes the cabinet back and stands. Her eyes go to the switch labels again. Road A lights keep on, the words are fresh ink, but a thin ghost of older letters sits under them. She leans close. Under the word lights, she can just see the curve of another letter from long ago. A different label. She breathes on the plastic and the fog makes the ghost lines show clearer. Gate. Someone changed the label. Someone wanted lights to be the story, not gate. She steps back. Her skin goes cold in the warm day. She grips the doorframe and looks out toward the hidden road. The town's silence is not empty. It is designed. A faint beep, beep, beep rolls up the cut from the grate again. The sound is weak but real. It is a phone alarm or a car sensor trapped below. Amina moves fast now. She feeds the string out and returns to the culvert. The water shouts louder like it knows she is here. She drops to the rock shelf and lies flat. She pushes her light down into the gap, careful not to let it slip. The beam finds a shape in the racing black. It is a car roof, silver under mud, wedged at an angle in the throat of the drain. The flow of water shoves over it and around it and through the broken windows like hands through a shirt. She shifts the light. The hood points down. The back end is up, stuck under twisted bars. The car did not jump into a river. It was pulled into a pipe. It cannot climb by itself. The beam swings and catches a face in the glass. For a half second, her heart stops. Then she understands it is a seat headrest with a wet cover bunched like a cheek. No one looks back at her. Relief cuts her knees until she has to press her legs hard into rock to keep steady. She pushes the light deeper. It strikes something pale, fluttering, cloth. A jacket sleeve exactly where she saw it before, caught on a bar near the driver's side. The cuff has a small logo Amina knows. Leo's. She looks for a hand. There is none. Just the empty sleeve, torn. She raises the beam to the back seat. 3 phone cases rest there in a small plastic tray between the seats. Mud coats them. Her light reflects in tiny dots. She sees a charm on one, a silver heart. Tasha's bracelet was not on her wrist last night. It broke at the gate, but she kept the charm in her phone case. Amina feels her throat close. She swallows and moves the beam again. On the inner wall of the drain above the car, something else waits. A faint line scratched into algae. Not a crack, a mark. 4 short scratches, then space, then 3. 4-3, a count. Or a message made by a key, a ring, a nail in a human hand. 4 here, Amina says, voice tight and small. 3 gone. Or is it 4 hours, 3 breaths? She does not know. But the marks are not nature. Someone made them in the dark. The beep, beep, beep returns, softer. She follows the sound with her light and finds a dashboard corner. A tiny red LED winks and dies again. That little light is a rumor of life, and it keeps her moving. She scans the edge above the car for footing in case she has to climb down later. A shelf curves along the wall like a ledge. On it, wet dust shows a heel print. Not a boot. A small tread. It points away from the car, toward a narrow escape path that runs along the pipe, then up to an old hatch where the cement is thin and cracked. A person was here. A person stood here. A person used that ledge and that hatch. A person walked away. Who? Amina breathes. Who got out? She pulls back from the gap and sits up. The world tilts and steadies again. She hugs herself for one breath and then reaches for her pencil. On the dry concrete, she writes with fast strokes, car wedged in drain, bars bent from inside. Rhoda used to say gate, switches live. Someone keeps them live. Small tread prints on ledge. One person walked away. Mia's phone found beeping still heard. Tag RA-113 hidden at shack. She circles RA-113, 1113. The minute. The pattern. The joke that is not a joke. Road A-113 tie all lines. The story is not random. It is a shape. A shadow crosses her notes. She looks up. A man stands at the top of the cut where the hidden road opens. He is just a shape against the pale sky. Cap, jacket, heavy boots. He does not call out. He does not run. He simply watches. In his hand there is something thin like a length of cable or a strap. Amina does not move. Her heart pounds. He lifts a hand, not a wave, not a threat, just a small motion like he is counting something in the air. Then he steps back and is gone. No brush crack, no stone roll. Only the crow gives him away. It lifts, circles once, and settles where he stood. The bird looks down at Amina and makes no sound. She breathes again. She stands and backs away from the edge, never turning her back on the gap. Halfway up the path, she stops and looks down one more time. The car roof gleams like a drowned moon. The drain pulls as if the hill itself is breathing in. She reaches the shack once more and checks the switches. They have not moved. She looks at the label and at her breath fog over the ghost word, gate. She whispers, lights are the cover. Gate is the truth. Her phone is still dead. She needs help now. Rescue ropes, winches. People who will listen and not look away. She thinks of Mrs. Cole. She thinks of Mr. Harlan. She thinks of the priest and the lost and found box and the cut tag with 413. She thinks of the council binder with black lines where answers should be. She tears a page from her map and writes in big, simple letters, car and drain alive. Signs don't cut power, block road call. Rescue at slope. She pins it to the shack door with the rag and the cable coil so wind cannot take it. Then she picks up the metal tag RA-113 and slips it into her pocket. If someone is counting, she will count too. On the path out, she sees new prints over her chalk marks. Not the man's boots, smaller, careful. The same tread as on the ledge above the car. They lead away from the grate, past the shack into the brush toward the old fence and the church road. They are not from last night. The edges are not sharp enough for rain this morning. They are from early dawn. Someone already passed here while she searched. Someone who did not call for help. Someone who walked away on purpose. A horn sounds once far and thin. It is not from a car in motion. It is from a car that wants to be found. Amina steps into the open light of day with her jaw set and her eyes bright. The town can keep its quiet words. The hill can keep its hidden road. She has proof. She has a path. She has the minute that eats power and the labels that lie and the bars that bend the wrong way. And she has one more question now, sharper than all the others. If someone walked away, who are they and why haven't they spoken? Sirens break the morning like thin glass. Red and blue lights crawl across wet stone. The quarry bend fills with people who move with purpose. Rescue ropes, helmets, clipped voices. Amina stands by the pump shack door with her note pinned there. Car and drain, alive signs. Don't cut power, block road. Mud dries in lines on her hands. Her jacket holds Mia's cracked phone like a small heart that forgot its beat. Mr. Harlan arrives with a coil of thick rope over his shoulder. Mrs. Cole comes fast, cheeks red, eyes set. The priest from the church brings a thermos and a folded blanket and says quiet prayers no one hears. The electric worker, the one who looked away before, keeps his cap low and stares at the switches without touching them. Do not throw that breaker, Amina says, steady. Rhoda stays live. Lights are a cover. The gate is the truth. A captain kneels by the culvert and looks into the rushing dark. He sees the car roof, the sleeve, the bent bars. He lifts a radio. He does not say impossible, he says rig anchors. Sling points here and here. I want a line down that ledge. Watch your feet, thin crust. They work. Hooks bite into rock. A metal tripod grows over the mouth of the drain like a patient spider. Two rescuers clip in and slide down the rope, flat against the wall. They reach the shelf where Amina lay. They talk with small words that do not waste air. Copy, roof, rear up. Bars bent, water strong. Hold the flow. No cut, Amina watches their hands. She holds the string she used earlier and feels it shake even though the wind is still. She points to the scratch marks on the algae. 4, then 3. The captain sees them and nods. He does not know the meaning. He knows the message. Someone was alive long enough to write. Minutes grow long. The priest's thermos sits untouched. The town gathers at the tape again. People who whispered yesterday now say nothing at all. The black truck from earlier does not appear, but wet tire marks on the church road say it was here before the sirens. Lower, the captain says. Ropes creak. Metal sings. The bars do not give easy. They have a memory of being straight. They want to return to it. The rescuer set a spreader. Crank it slow. Breathe with the metal, wait through the groan. A bar moves a finger's width. Cold water hisses through the new gap like a warning. Hold, comes the voice from below. I've got one. The crowd stiffens. A woman grabs a stranger's sleeve without knowing it. A harness drops. A body rises from the black mouth, wrapped and coughing, eyes closed, lips blue. It is Mia. Her camera harness is still clipped across her chest, broken lens blinking with a single dead pixel like a tired star. She gasps once, twice, and then breathes. The town breathes with her. A blanket covers her. Hands carry her to the waiting van. The door closes soft. Again, the captain says they lower the lines. The spreader groans, holds. The second haul comes slower. Water pushes like a stubborn crowd. Another body surfaces in arms and straps. Leo. He is not awake, but his chest lifts under the foil. Then lifts again. The medic says numbers that sound like hope. 2 up, the captain says into the radio. 2 confirmed alive. A sound moves through the people like a tiny wave. Relief does not carry far. It breaks early on fear. Where are the other 2? Mrs. Cole asks, voice small. The ledge answers with a scrap of cloth and a key ring that rides a thin whirlpool, then disappears down the throat of the drain. They try for Jared next. The lines search and meet air, then debris, then nothing. A rescuer reaches deeper toward the lower pipe and shakes his head. No access. He taps his helmet twice. We'll need to open the grate fully or cut flow. Do not kill the pump, Amina says. Not yet. You'll drown the pockets below. The electric worker finds his voice. She's right, he says, hoarse. If you cut power to the drain, water backs up. Wrong place, wrong minute, the captain nods once. We keep it live. We widen. He raises his eyes to Amina. You found this. Show me the climb marks. She points to the small heel print, the path up to the cracked hatch, the thin escape route. One person used this ledge, she says. Not last night. Early dawn. They walked away. Who? The captain asks. The answer is not here. It is somewhere up in the trees, on wet leaves where careful feet stepped. On a church road where tire marks dry fast in a black truck that knows the bend by heart. A shout from the lower rope. Found a 4th. They lift the shape with care. It is Tasha. Her bracelet charm, the silver heart from the phone case, hangs on a broken zipper caught by luck or by love. Her face is gray. The priest steps forward. The medic shakes his head. A sheet covers her. Wind presses the sheet to her cheek for one honest second, like the sky is memorizing her. Silence takes a chair by the grate. No one moves it. The captain checks the time. We keep searching for Jared, he says. We follow the pipe to the next access. We notify downstream stations. We do not stop. He does not add. Not after a minute like 11:13. Not after labels that lie. Amina walks with Mrs. Cole and Mr. Harlan to the pump shack. She wipes mud from the plastic near the "Lights Keep On" label and fogs the panel with her breath. The ghost word shows again. Gate. Mr. Harlan swears under his breath, a word he never says in front of librarians. Who changed that? He asks. The electric worker answers without looking up. Someone who wanted the story to be about pretty light and not heavy steel, he says. He pulls a small notebook from his chest pocket and writes RA 119 with a blunt pencil. This is not on any work order, he adds. But the tag is company issue. Old company. The first one. The one that closed and secured the site, Mrs. Cole says, each word like a pin on a map. The council clerk arrives late, hair neat, face pale. Press will come, she says. We should prepare a statement. Amina turns to her. Prepare a gate, she says. Prepare a lock. Prepare to answer why the pump shack door has a melted tag ring and no lock at all. The clerk's mouth opens. No sound comes out. She clasps her binder like a shield and watches the fog on the switch label vanish. From the church, the noon bell finally rings, late, cautious, like a lie trying to sound like truth. On the second toll, the black truck rolls slow past the far end of the tape. The windows are still too dark. Amina steps forward. The truck does not stop. It turns the corner and slides out of sight. The priest touches Amina's sleeve. Careful, he says. She nods. Careful does not mean quiet. A medic brings Mia's phone to Amina. Found in your jacket, he says. We can dry it in rice in a warm box. He smiles a little like a person who wants to believe in simple fixes. Amina presses the side button just once more. The dead screen gives nothing, but when she holds the phone to her ear, she hears a tiny click inside like a dying watch that refuses to quit. She filmed, Amina says. If the card holds, we will see more than we want. Mrs. Cole squeezes her hand. We will store what we must, she says, and we will show what they hid. By late afternoon, the rescue team finds a second access grate half a mile down, a rusted plate under thorn and trash. It is sealed with thick wire that someone twisted neat and clean. The wire is bright at the cut points as if clipped recently. Inside, the pipe opens into a sump wider than a room. Empty air lives there between breaths of water. Jared is not in that pocket. His cap floats near a ladder and taps the rung, tap, tap, tap. The slow signal of a clock with only one hand. The captain logs it. He marks a third access, deeper still, where the pipe meets the river, boats set out with poles and quiet faces. The day bends toward dark without apology. At the bend, people write flowers into the fence with ribbon and stems. The priest sets a candle on the concrete lip where the scratches say 4, then 3. Amina kneels and adds one more line beside them.
Not a tally.
A pather. Forward, she says. Mr. Harlan taps the pump panel with his knuckle. We keep road alive until the car is lifted, he says. Then we seal. Real weld, real fines. No more meant to. The electric worker nods and pulls a proper lock from his kit. He slides it through the hasp and clicks it shut with a sound that feels like a small door closing in the right place for once. Night comes. The town breathes out, then in, then holds it, listening for a horn. It comes, one long note from far away, thin as a thread. People flinch. The priest looks up. The captain checks his watch. 11:13 is hours away. The horn should not be now. Amina's eyes narrow. She looks toward the church road, toward the place where careful feet walked at dawn. The sound is not from the drain. It is from the rise above the road, where old survey stakes rot in the brush and the pump shack shadows lie long. She steps past the tape. No one stops her in time. She climbs the short path to the shack and finds the door closed and locked with the new lock Mr. Harlan just set. On the door, someone has traced the triangle overline symbol in fresh dust with a fingertip. Under it, there is a second mark Amina has not seen before, 2 small dots. She touches the dots. They smear 2 dots. 2 alive, 1 gone. 1 not returned, or 2 eyes. Watching. She turns and sees it. A small trail of water drops across the dirt. Not from rain, not from runoff. Foot drops. Recent. They go from the shack toward the main road, then vanish in gravel. A message buzzes to life on Mia's dead phone in Amina's pocket. Not a screen light. An old haptic echo, one last phantom tremor. Amina does not call this science. She calls it a push. She hears inside her head or outside it, she cannot say, a dry laugh. Once. She looks out over the town. The candles by the grate, the boats on the river, the tape and the flowers, the black truck's ghost in her mind. She says clear as glass to the night and to whoever listens, this was not bad luck. This was a system, gates, switches, signs that lie. Someone turned the way on. The wind carries her words down the cut. She adds one more promise, simple and hard. I will name you. And the story does not end. It opens, because there is still a person who walked away and did not speak. There is a council page with black lines that should be names. There is a video card inside a cracked camera that may hold a face in its last frame. There is a lock tag burned at one edge and stamped with a minute that eats the dark. Who opened the road? Who changed the label from gate to lights? Who stood on the ledge and left quiet footprints? Where is Jared? If you want the full truth, names, proof, the last frame, stay with the Black Girl narrative.